guys, Mixed Media Girl here. Welcome to my channel and this fabulous Earth Day art collaboration. So I have gotten together with a group of amazing artists, and I do mean amazing. Every single one of them is incredible. And we are getting together for Earth Day to do this collaboration on how you can upcycle materials and reduce waste when doing fluid art. So that's kind of the theme today. And for my video, I will be upcycling a vase that I actually got at Goodwill. So acrylic pouring is a fantastic way to upcycle old furniture or home decor and make it into something new again. And I will also be going over in my video some ways that you can reduce your waste from acrylic pouring. I'm going to be honest, this is not the exact topic that I meant to cover today. I save like every little bit and piece from my resin pieces and my acrylic pour pieces. And what I really wanted to do for this project was take some of those little pieces that I've been saving for years now and make them into some really cool things. Unfortunately, I did not have the chance to do that for this specific collaboration, but that will be coming soon. But just know that you do not have to waste really a single thing. You can reuse literally everything from the drops of paint on your table, your cups, your stir sticks, and literally just about everything. So without further ado, let's get right into the project, and I hope you enjoy it. And then after this video, please make sure that you check out all of the other artists in this collaboration. So I love to acrylic pour on just about anything and take old pieces of furniture in my house or even things that might get thrown away and upcycle them by acrylic pouring or resin painting on them to make them into something brand new. And this makes a fantastic gift or just decor for your home, and is a great way to reduce, reuse, and recycle old things that would otherwise probably just get thrown away. And my favorite thing to acrylic pour on, I think, is vases. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I'm using Mixed Media Girl pouring paint. So I'm using also really earthy tones. I wanted to go for not like bright, bold colors like I normally use, but just a little more earthy. I actually made a couple of custom colors for this. And so I'm using Mixed Media Girl pouring paints, and then I'm using just some regular acrylic paints that are mixed with Mixed Media Girl pouring medium. So the colors I have here are white, chocolate magic, and Pacific blue. And then I have a custom kind of cream color that I made. I couldn't even tell you exactly what I used, but it was a combination of some white and gold mostly. I think a little bit of chocolate magic in there as well. And then I made kind of a Merlot plum purple color, which was a combination of purple, red, and blue, I believe. Just going for more earthy, but I wanted also warm tones for whatever reason here. And I really wanted this to be a kind of a light marbled look. So I'm using a lot of the white and a lot of that light cream color, but also trying to make sure that I get some good contrast in here. And it's a pretty small vase, but I am doing this on top of a 12 by 24 inch canvas so that I can have an awesome 2-for-1 piece. I don't ever do an acrylic pour on an object without having something underneath to catch that runoff. So that's really important to me, not to waste that extra paint. So I'll have a canvas underneath, and then under that I will have even plastic, a silicone mat, or something that you can use to catch that runoff paint and reuse it. So I put the vase on top of a cup, which is also reused, and these plastic cups you can use over and over and over, and that's on top of my canvas. And then I'm just pouring really slowly over it to get the design that I want and ensure it's coming out exactly the way that I want it to. You don't have to pour your entire cup of paint onto the canvas. If at any point you're happy with your design, feel free to stop and you can just add the rest of the paint to the canvas. But I knew that I had the colors that I was most excited about kind of at the bottom of the cup. So I was kind of excited to get to that but poured pretty slowly. And this gives me an incredible pattern on the canvas itself. So I let that run off of the vase as much as possible. If you move the vase off at this point, you will waste some paint because it'll just all run off onto your table. So let it run off onto the canvas. I also like to flip my cup over on the side of the canvas and drain that as much as humanly possible. And then I don't just throw my cup away. I save that and I reuse it later in a leftover paint pour. So I'll usually put 2 paint cups together and combine them. And I'll just continue to do that until I have a full cup of paint, and then I'll use that in another project. You could also use it in base coats and things like that. So I did want to add a little bit more paint on the sides of the canvas since it's a long canvas, not a square or anything. We've got a little bit of extra room there, so I added a little bit of paint just to make sure I had plenty of paint for it to flow. Now, a common concern is the amount of paint that you use with fluid art, and granted, you are using a decent amount. That is true, but there does not have to be any waste. You can take any and all paint that drips off onto the table, and you can use that in other projects. So I'm going to show that in just a little bit, but for now, I don't consider any paint that you actually use to be paint that is wasted. And maybe some people would argue with that, but for me, the paint is there. Art materials are meant to be used. It's where you end up wasting them that it can be kind of a problem. So that's my goal, is to waste as little as possible and to reuse as many materials as possible, from my plastic cups to my stir sticks to my paint bottles and things like that. So after letting the vase sit for quite a while and letting it drain onto the canvas, I let that sit and I let it close up, because if you start tilting it before that hole closes up, you can, it'll just affect the design. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but it'll affect the design. The paint doesn't want to move as much on a dry canvas. So I let it fully close up and then I tilted it to cover it. And I love, love, love this pattern. One thing is I did mix my paint right before this video, which is going to add in some additional air bubbles into the paint. And I know that, so it's going to create some cells and other reactions that I wouldn't normally get with my regular pouring paints, but that's okay. And I love this earthy color combination. So I'm going towards the corners and the sides and then back to the middle. And I like to get my canvas covered as much as humanly possible before I intentionally start running the paint off of the sides. So some did start running off while I was pouring the vase. That's okay. Again, we are going to reuse that as well. And it's a gorgeous pattern, so it'll make some beautiful other projects. And actually, while I'm tilting here, I'll just go into some of that. So the paint that is on the table can be used in multiple ways. One, you could reuse it immediately by dipping other projects into it, such as the glass pieces for jewelry or coasters or another canvas. You can also scrape it off of the table wet, put it into a container and use it later for a base coat of some sorts. Or my favorite thing to do is to actually let it dry and then peel it off. If it's on plastic or a silicone mat, you can just peel it right off and then you can use it in a number of projects. The most common is jewelry, so I'm actually going to show you that in a minute. But there are so many other things that you can make with it, including bookmarks, keychains. I've made wine charms with acrylic skins. You can make collages and, glue those pieces onto other art pieces or art projects. I love mixed media personally, so that's one of my favorite things to do. I actually have an entire course on acrylic skin projects if you are interested, if you need some ideas, and there are a ton of free YouTube videos out there on things to do with your acrylic skins. So here I'm going to show you one of my favorite projects. It's the simplest and the most common. And I am peeling skin off of a silicone funnel. This is actually from Christmas time. So I did some ornaments on the silicone funnels, and then I peeled the skin off and I made those into necklaces. So I use a little bit of diamond glaze and I glue those directly onto the pieces. And then you're going to want to hold that glass piece down for a little bit until the glue slightly dries, just to make sure you get that full adhesion. And then I like to let it dry overnight till it's basically fully dry, and then you can cut it out. So here I'm showing it close up, and I just literally hold that down for a minute until it is fairly dry. And that way you can be sure that you're not going to get any spots that don't get completely glued down. So you can then cut it out the next day. You do not need to throw away even these little scraps of skin. I like to use those in coasters and other like fun pieces where you can have kind of like confetti pieces of things. So you don't even need to throw those little bits away. You can keep them and use them for other projects. But look how gorgeous that is. It's just such a simple and easy way to reuse that runoff paint. You do not need to just waste it. So even these glass pieces, you could make them into necklaces as I'm doing here, or you could glue magnets on the back. And this could be a necklace, it could be a wine charm, it could be a keychain, it could be all kinds of things. So just a really, really simple project. And look how beautiful that is. This makes a really great gift. So Mother's Day is coming up, and then, you know, you've got all kinds of holidays. Super simple gift. And then here I just put a cord in them. You can use any kind of chain. These are pretty inexpensive. And then, yeah, I'll show you in just a second how they look complete. So again, the idea is reduce as much waste as possible and reuse as much as possible and upcycle where possible. So unfortunately, I did not get a chance to show the canvas dry. I actually had to go out of town to Texas for a class, so a little bit of a different environment here, but it's gorgeous. This is how it looks the next day after doing it initially, and I'm just in love with these colors. It's very earthy, not as bright and bold as I normally would, but I still got a couple of my favorite colors in there, like that Pacific blue, and then not a Merlot, but kind of a, you know, plum color, which I really, really like. And then here is the vase dry, and I think this is absolutely gorgeous. So this is exactly the look I was going for, just beautiful, marbled. And so I feel like I took something just plain and boring that people probably didn't want and made it into something really, really beautiful that people would treasure for years to come. And you can do this with just about anything. So I hope you like it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and here's a little outro. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that project. And again, please check out all of the other artists in this collaboration. You can look down in the description and you'll see links to all of their videos, including the times and dates that they will be live. So please do me a favor, check them out. Happy Earth Day, and I will see you all next time.